Hi guys, this is Mary. This is my Body Speech Mind video. For these sessions I met with Sam. She's a white female in her early 40s. She has a round body, brown straight hair that she has pulled back when we meet. She is wearing sweatshirt, leggings, slip-on shoes, really conveys a casual sense to her attire. When we sit together, Sam slouches on the stools. Our environment for our sessions is my art room at the school, which has 4 large tables in it and stools at each table. When we meet, she slouches, as I mentioned. It doesn't so much convey to me a sense of tiredness or being worn out and slouching for that reason, but more so comfortable feeling, like she's comfortable sitting like that. It's a very open position, and she's very energetic with her mannerisms, using her hands, very similar to what I do. Sitting with legs apart, hip width apart, comfortable. She is married and has been married for about 20 years. She has 4 children. They range in the ages of 19 and 6. She seems to keep up on her health hygiene, like she's not at all dirty or unclean, but I don't think it's so much a priority for her self-care. I think there might be some health issues, but nothing that hinders her job or daily activity from what I can tell during our sessions. With my own body, when we meet, I find myself to be comfortable with Sam, and I think her physical comfort also encourages that. I find that I'm leaning in as we talk and when we meet. In a different sense, I also find that my physical body, I'm rolling my shoulders back a little bit more and sitting a bit straighter. This, I think, is this unconscious response to her slouching. I don't find it very comfortable to slouch. I'm not saying I'm doing very, judgmental way, but I think I'm subconsciously or unconsciously compensating. Like my body is kind of compensating by straightening up a little bit, but not in an uncomfortable sense. I'm still comfortable the whole time we meet in our sessions. So I feel this openness around her and comfort level, even though I find that I also need to correct myself and position myself a little straighter while we meet. In regards to Sam's speech, she's very comfortable. When we first started talking about what these sessions would be about, she was like, "Oh, so I just get to come in and just talk." So she has a very welcoming, friendly tone about her. It's not meek and quiet, but it's also not in your face loud. I find it very even tone and friendly, and enough of a range to it to invite a conversation in. And again, the volume right in the middle. As far as speed at which she talks, it's not too fast where you miss anything, but it's definitely not slow as if she's searching for words. There were moments in our sessions when she would be contemplating something, like transitions coming up for her son who's graduating, or her daughter and her schooling, her other daughter moving into middle school, or her herself and potential jobs coming up, that she would talk slower and her gaze would kind of go off like this, as if she was really thinking about stuff and talking with me about it. So that was noticeable. It would get a bit faster when she would talk about relations to people in town or relations to people in school. So just something she's a little bit more immediate describing rather than contemplating. I could see the difference in the pacing of the speed at which she talked. She very friendly in her expression. She was very direct. A lot of what we talked about had to do with direct relationships. We didn't talk too much about philosophy or religion or spirituality or kind of or world issues. It was a lot to do with direct relationships, both within school, extended family, immediate family, that kind of like direct sort of association with our speech. Again, she was very comfortable with talking about issues like, talking about sexuality. We didn't delve too far into it. She was very direct about it, very comfortable with it, but we just didn't, there was no real huge contemplation there. She seems to really have that caretaker role, both in her role as a mother and a teacher, and even in regards to the relationship she has with the friends of her children, and how she can see when those friends might not have the same caretaker in their lives, and how she wants to extend that to them in a very welcoming, friendly, open sense. But I can also see how like taking on that caretaker role and the self-care, how that could be like, okay, well, you need that too, sort of thing. And I found that when we were talking and the speech, I was finding a lot got activated for me with that similar role as mother and teacher. So I wanted to chime in more. And it was this noticeable holding back a bit. Not that I didn't want to share and be open, but I was there for her and not so much to have this conversational like, we're friends just talking about our lives. So just kind of identifying my role as a therapist in that sense at that moment when activated by what she was saying. Because I think also her friendly tone welcomed that. So I was providing more than just nodding and agreeing and smiling, slight like some encouragement to talk and validation of what she was saying, but not overly sharing on my end to kind of equalize the conversation. But it felt really good to be with her. I enjoyed the time I spent with Sam, and the container we set together, and the openness she felt with me. I really appreciated that. I felt warm about it. In regards to mind, I apologize, that's my cat. In regards to mind, Sam, I mentioned previously with the speech that Sam's pace would change when she was contemplative of certain things coming up in her life and her children's lives as well, and the speech would connect to those thoughts when she was being more contemplative, as opposed to telling me about the relationship. So when it became informative, it was a little bit more fast, not too fast where I couldn't understand or kind of struggled to understand. But then when it became contemplative, it was a lot slower and kind of looking off more, like we broke eye contact a little bit. Her mind did not seem very tangled, despite the fact that we covered multiple topics within our sessions together. She didn't seem to be lost in thought or struggling so much. There weren't a whole lot of tangled problems to work out. It seemed more so like a share session kind of thing, where it's just like, tell me how this is making you feel and how this is going. So very direct and clear, easy to follow. A lot of focus again on the relationships in her life. Very light though. We didn't really hit upon any dark areas where she was hesitant to talk about things. It was a very overall friendly, humorous, light tone throughout our sessions. And I would say it was very colorful looking at the sheet. Very warm and welcoming. I like the part where it's talking about what element would you compare these sessions to in this person's mind to. And I instantly think of water, and how it was really refreshing to sit with her. And I found that the flow was very easy. We covered a lot, but it wasn't as if we were jumping around and lost track of how we had gotten to certain places. So there was a good even flow about it. And I think she has in regards to like intuitiveness and self-awareness, I think she talks a lot about the relationship she has with others and relationship with the people around her. So I think there's a lot of like seeing herself reflected in the relationship she has with others, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it could go deeper, like who are you, like could go a little deeper. So I think she's very strong in her intuition and comfortable with that. So it was good to sit with her. My mind didn't get clouded. I wasn't tangled sitting with her and kind of absorbing what she presented to me. I found that despite the fact that I like to talk about a lot more like philosophy and beliefs and spiritualities, that I was still enjoying the conversation. I didn't find myself being bored. I wasn't at all bored by what we were talking about. I found it very relatable. Yeah, so it was a good session. So I think we've covered body, speech, and mind. And that was my session with Sam. Or at least the 3 sessions we had kind of summed up. And I look forward to the feedback I'm going to get from you guys. So thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.